If you can understand and apply what I'm going to share with you in this video now, you can potentially save yourself decades of therapy, decades of self-reflection, and really allow yourself to understand who you are as a person, what drives you, what motivates you, and what your actual desires are in a really clear, simple, and tangible way. This is why I'm able to do this, is because as humans, it's easy to get lost in complexity, but at the end of the day, we are actually quite simple creatures, and what motivates and drives us is often what motivates and drives quite a lot of other people, because we all are more similar than we would probably like to admit. So if you were to look at the vast majority of self-help or spiritual content, you can sum it up in pretty much three simple things. Doing something to generate feelings of you are okay, it's going to be okay, and you can do it. And if you can just pause and think about that, keep that framework in mind, and then next time you browse any of this content, you could see that people write a whole book, and the whole point of it is trying to say, oh, you're going to be okay, or it's going to be okay, or you can do it. And if you look at people's journeys, people are struggling with one or all three of these issues. Now, I want to make the distinction between genuine and authentic traditions that have absolutely nothing to do with any of this. And what I'm talking about now is kind of what we have in our modern world that people are associating and lumping in with spirituality. And this is what the vast majority of people are actually doing, which is completely distinct from legitimate, authentic traditions, which I don't think this is what people are actually doing the vast majority of the time, but that's something separate. I think the vast majority of the time what people are doing is just trying to medicate themselves, reclaim some part of their self-identity, and have some sort of emotional improvement in their life, which that's very unlikely to occur if we are completely confused and out to lunch on the actual drivers and motivators. So again, coming back to you are okay, it's going to be okay, and you can do it. And obviously, consuming something or doing something that helps you feel this way is obviously useful and obviously helpful, and obviously can be very life-changing for a lot of people. Many people don't have great family situations. They didn't have a great childhood. They don't have friends. They don't have close relationships, or if they do, they feel disconnected or isolated to some capacity. So they don't have these basic frameworks that they probably should have. And sometimes even if people do have all these frameworks, they still don't. Or people have, family, and they have all these dynamics, but they still don't have these emotional things. So they're kind of seeking it. And they're maybe stuck in relationship patterns because they don't understand that's one or three of these dynamics that they're basically being driven or motivated by. So the vast majority of content that's out there is basically stimulating one or all three of those things. So this is kind of normal. We're human beings. It's normal for someone to want support in a down moment. It's normal for someone to have a bad day or a bad mood or a bad decade or whatever, and they just kind of want this emotional, hug or pat on the back or whatever you want to call it, is basically what it is. And from what I've seen after, being in this industry for nearly 20 years or so at this point, there's really a multitude of flavors and expressions and resources for generating these kinds of things. Whether on one end someone is, Orthodox Christian or another organized religion, all the way on the way other extreme where someone believes in star seeds and alien species. Ultimately, emotionally speaking, oftentimes is giving people the same thing, meaning you are okay, it's going to be okay, and maybe you are even special. And not to denigrate or put anything down, it's just pointing out this is kind of the situation. This is what's driving people. The real problem, the real issue is that if a person never actually evolves past that point, and if chasing feeling good or chasing some emotional hit or chasing some dopamine, if you want to put it that way, is their primary aim, then that's not actually growth. That is just being temporarily medicated and trying to feel good. That's not actually solving a problem. That's not actually necessarily evolving something or evolving a person. And I kind of think if a person just wants to feel good, then why waste your time and energy with all this other complicated stuff? Like, just take a bath, take some high-dose Epsom salts, high-dose magnesium, smoke weed, do drugs, drink alcohol, have sex, watch porn, play video games, eat fast food, eat pizza, get a pet, get a dog, listen to music, like stimulate yourself with all the myriad of ways that the world is trying to offer if you're just after feeling good, because those things will help you feel more good more of the time while you're alive than all this other stuff that people get into. And the reason why I say that is, what is our actual aim? What is our actual desire? And a lot of people say, oh, it's growth. Oh, it's being a better person, all these things. But then if you ask what those things actually mean, it's no definition, no understanding, no clear goals, no clear sign markers or signposts or markers or anything. It's just kind of a vague, oh, I'll feel differently or I'll feel better oftentimes. Which, of course, yes, if a person is in a really deep, dark, emotional, negative place, obviously, of course. Of course, just getting back to normal or neutral is amazing. It is important. And it's not what we're talking about here. I'm more so referring to the kind of casual, professional person who just indulges in this stuff past the point of usefulness.